This is the United States of America, home to 50 states, and home to 50 state capitals. And in this multi-part series, we're going to have a lot of fun because we're going to look at every state capitol building, look a little into its history, give a few quick facts about it, and then we're going to rank it on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being the lowest, 5 being average, and 10 being a perfect score. Of course, these rankings are all subjective, but it's just going to be a little more of a relaxing video and a little bit of fun at the expense of all these state capitol buildings. And we're just going to focus on the exterior of the building. I know the inside, the rotundas of a lot of these buildings are magnificent, but we're just going to focus on the outside. So let's get to it. We're going to go through it alphabetically. We'll do 12 state capitals in this episode. Let's begin. It's time to score some United States Capitol buildings. So the first one on the docket today is the Alabama State Capitol. And after moving the Capitol around 5 times around the state, they finally decided to place the state capitol in Montgomery. The building was built in 1850 to 1851. Unlike other state capitals, the Alabama legislature doesn't actually meet in the Alabama state capitol, but actually meets at the Alabama State House. So this capitol building actually only has a museum and the governor's office, nothing else. Lastly, during the Civil War, this building was used as the capital of the South, the Confederate States of America. A nickname for this building is the First Confederate Capital. So how are we going to rate this? Let's see here. I think we're going to go with let's give it a 9. Because I love the stairway going up and the landscaping on both sides. You got these statues on both sides as well. And the wings of the building just look great. It completes the building, that clock in the center. It's a really nice looking building and a great way to start this video. We go to our next state of Alaska, to the city of Juneau, where the state capitol building looks like an office building. But it's a nicely done one. It's a nice looking office building. Due to the compact nature of Juneau, they don't really have capitol grounds. It's this building with a parking lot in the back. The building finished construction in 1931, where it was used as a federal government building. It wasn't until 1959, when Alaska became a state, that the state was allowed to use this building, and it became the Capitol building. The building is 6 stories tall, and is one of only 11 state capitals to not have a dome. The second floor houses the Alaska Senate and the House of Representatives, while the third floor is the location of the governor and lieutenant governor's offices. So while this building isn't maybe as visually interesting as a traditional US Capitol building, it's still a very nice looking office building. It's a shame there's no straight on photos of it because of this office building in front of it, but it is what it is. It's still a nice building, and I will give it a little above average. I will give it a 6 out of 10. Located in Phoenix, the Arizona State Capitol was built in 1900 and housed the territorial government. The building was built to show the federal government that this territory was ready to become a state. Sadly, the Arizona government doesn't even use this building. No legislature, no senate, not even the governor's office. They all use other buildings on the campus now. But this historic Capitol building is still representative of Arizona, and today is used as the Arizona Capitol Museum. So shouldn't I rate this ugly building that the governor actually is in? No, because we're rating state capitol buildings. Historical, current day, whatever it may be. Well, it's definitely nicer than the current buildings, and it's made out of a lot of local Arizona materials and designs. The statue on the rotunda is pretty. I guess that's like a little balcony patio up top where the columns are. I don't know, it doesn't look quite right. The grounds are okay, they're fine, but there's nothing really special. I just can't say it's the best looking state capitol. I'm gonna have to give it I hate to do this, I'm gonna have to give it a 5. It's okay, it's average. The Arkansas State Capitol, located in Little Rock, was completed in 1915 at a cost of $2.2 million. The designer of the building, George R. Mann, actually designed this building to be the state capital of Montana. His building design actually won an architectural contest, but then Montana decided not to do his design because it cost too much, and, well, Arkansas pretty much carried over that design to this building. That's right, this building is technically what the Montana State Capitol would have looked like. Some other quirks and features about this Capitol building is that it was actually built at the site of the Arkansas State Penitentiary. Prisoners helped build this building. They actually have a dormitory still on the Capitol grounds that the prisoners stayed in while building this building. And the Capitol doesn't actually align to the Little Rock grid system. The building is off kilter. The building was accidentally aligned incorrectly by George Donahue, who would later become the governor of Arkansas. That's why when you walk up to the entrance of the building, there's a slight S-curve on the walkway to line it up with the city streets, and I guess they're hoping nobody will notice. Now personally, despite that, I think that this is an absolutely beautiful Capitol building. The quintessential Capitol building in my mind. It's got these beautiful wings on both sides with rotundas and a massive dome in the middle. It just speaks of power and authority, and it looks classic. It's beautiful. So I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10. At the end of Capitol Mall Boulevard in Sacramento, we have the California State Capitol. Built in a beautiful neoclassical design, the building was completed in 1874. The building itself is located in the long and beautiful California State Capitol Park, and the building has some incredible sightlines, especially from the Capitol Mall, extending all the way to the Sacramento River and Tower Bridge. The building has these stately Corinthian columns that go up to the portico as they continue to rise up to the dome. From any angle, the grounds, the building, it's all beautiful. I'm giving it a 10 out of 10. So there, another one of the most beautiful state capitals in the country. And we got ourselves yet another beautiful state capitol, the capital of Colorado in Denver. The building is made of local granite and has a golden dome made of real gold, because Colorado used to be known for gold rushes. So this golden dome represents the gold miners. The building also has stained glass windows depicting the history of Colorado, and the halls of the building are decorated with pictures of every US president. Lastly, the official elevation for the city of Denver is measured outside the west entrance, where the 15th step of the Capitol building is emblazoned with the words 1 mile above sea level, which gives us the elevation of 5,280 feet above sea level. The building itself is beautiful. Again, I'm gonna have to give it another 10. It's located in Civic Center Park, and there are some beautiful grounds around the Capitol building. I also like the statue of the Union Army cavalrymen at the front of the building. It represents all the soldiers from the state of Colorado. I would also like to point out real fast the dome, how it has slimmer columns at the bottom to not make the dome look overly heavy like some Capitol buildings do. Overall, very nice. We next head to Hartford, Connecticut, which is not their original Capitol building. This one was built between 1872 to 1878, and it has more of a Victorian Gothic, almost Renaissance style to this building. They officially call the design style Eastlake Style or Eastlake Movement. The building is made of marble from Connecticut and granite from Rhode Island. The Capitol is located kind of in a weird corner of Bushnell Park, right next to a massive freeway interchange. And while the building is pretty, some part of me doesn't think the dome matches the rest of the building, and maybe the dome's a little too tall or something. Something's just not right to make this 100% to me. It doesn't all balance together, and because of that, I'm gonna have to give it a 6. It's better than average, but not great. And this isn't a knock on all the ornate details all over the building on the exterior and interior. It's absolutely gorgeous. This all comes down to just how the building flows together as one piece. The capital of Delaware is located in Dover and is home to actually one of the newer Capitol buildings in the USA. It was completed in 1933, with new wings being added in the 1960s and in 1994. And harkening back to the colonial days, the building was built in a colonial revival style. This is also not the original Capitol building. The original was built in 1787 and is actually located in a different part of the state. This particular Capitol building is actually known as the Delaware Legislative Hall. Unlike other state capitals, which are grand and maybe imposing, this building is the exact opposite. It's pretty simplistic and minimalist, though beautiful in its own way. And much like the state of Delaware, it isn't trying to be imposing. This building earns a 7. Located in front of the old state capital of Florida is the new state capital of Florida, located in Tallahassee. Completed in 1977, the new state capitol is a 25-story building, if you include the underground floors and a secretive floor, and it stands at 345 feet tall. The old state capitol was built in 1845 and was set for demolition when this new state capitol building was being built. All the concept art and blueprints had the expectation that the old capitol was going to be razed. However, thanks to some citizens and a few politicians, the original state capitol building was saved. And now you got this crazy mismatch of a classic historic looking building and this rather unappealing tall tower. But all the government body is in the new tower, which is the building I have to review. Lastly, the new building does have an observation floor so people can look out, which is pretty neat. So yeah, I can understand what this new building was trying to go for. It sort of looks like it's a modern take of buildings in Washington, D.C., but it's pretty lifeless, and it certainly isn't a building that Floridians should be conjuring up emotions of pride for, as opposed to the old building, which was beautiful. So this we're gonna give a 4, because I'm pretty sure you could stick this building in any major city and you wouldn't even look twice at it. The Capitol building of Georgia was once the City Hall of Atlanta. To kind of lure the state capital to Atlanta, the city actually donated the building to the state to become the state capital. Prior to this, the state capital of Georgia was actually in a town called Milledgeville. But anyways, this beautiful building was completed in 1889, and it's packed with different government offices, including the governor, lieutenant governor, secretary of state, general assembly. It's just packed with everything. There's even a museum inside. The building was designed to resemble that of the United States Capitol building, so it has a lot of similar design motifs such as the columns, the wings on the outside, even the dome. The building is quite compact in a sense that it's surrounded by an urban developed area around it. There isn't much room to spread your wings, if you will. You also have the beautiful Liberty Plaza next to it, but then right next to that you also got the super busy, noisy downtown connector freeway. Georgia was actually home to the very first gold rush in the United States, which happened in the 1830s. The dome of the Georgia state capitol is actually gold from nearby Lumpkin County, and atop the dome is Miss Freedom, aka the Goddess of Liberty, a 1,600-pound copper statue that is 26 feet tall and was commissioned way back in 1888. It's an absolutely beautiful building, let down a little bit by the surrounding area. I will give it a 9 out of 10. Located in a lush green pocket of downtown Honolulu, we have the Capitol Building of Hawaii. And boy, does it look like a building from the 60s or 70s. It's got that exterior of an office building, or maybe a bank, or the exterior of an unappealing basketball arena. This building was actually built under the term of Hawaii's second governor, and it opened in 1969 and replaced the former Capitol building, known as Iolani Palace, which was the royal residence of the rulers of the Kingdom of Hawaii before Hawaii became, a US state. That old building is so much more appealing. They named the style of this building the Hawaiian International Style, and quite honestly, it has a lot of different meaningful design motifs throughout, whether inside or outside. For example, inside the two legislative chambers are cone-shaped, symbolizing volcanoes that formed the Hawaiian Islands. The building has an open-air design connecting the workers inside to the natural landscape of Hawaii outside. There are also 8 columns and 4 rows on either side of the building representing the 8 main islands of Hawaii. Those columns are also designed to look like a royal palm tree. There are 4 of these trees called kukai nut trees, which represent the 4 main counties of Hawaii, as well as 4 major Hawaiian gods. So there's clearly a ton of effort, time, and care put into the design of this building, which is why it pains me to give it the score I'm about to give it, because it's all subjective. I personally don't find it that appealing as a Capitol building, but it is unique, which is cool. That's awesome. And it's got a beautiful grounds around it. The grounds definitely saved it. So I'm gonna give it a 5. It's middle road, it's okay. A part of me wants to give it a lower score, but for now, we're just gonna give it a 5. We next head to the land of potatoes, to the city of Boise, to check out our next Capitol building. And I must say, this is a rather magnificent looking building for a little state like Idaho. The building construction started in 1905, but it wasn't completed until 1912, and then they extended the wings of the building in 1920. The total cost of the building was just under $2.1 million, and when all complete, it stood 203 feet high, which at the time would have probably made it the tallest structure between Seattle and Denver or something like that. There's reason for the grandiose design of this building because it had some grandiose inspirations, including the US Capitol building, St. Paul's Cathedral in London, and St. Peter's Basilica in Rome. They cut no expense to this thing, using 4 different types of marble, from Georgia, from Alaska, from Vermont, and even black marble from Italy. Inside, under the rotunda, is a beautiful sundial, and not to mention the dome itself is absolutely gorgeous. There's also a full-sized Liberty Bell replica inside, and shh, keep this on the down low, there's actually a tunnel leading from the Capitol building to other government buildings on the Capitol Mall. The sightlines of the Capitol building from around the city are terrific, especially along Capitol Boulevard. Honestly, this building gets a 10 out of 10. You done good here, Idaho. You done good. So there we go. We just went through the first batch of capitals in the United States of America and gave them a score. And if you like this kind of content, please be sure to like, subscribe, and comment below. It tells me if you like this content or not because, believe it or not, I'm trying really hard to make this channel be a success. And I want to create content you enjoy and want to keep coming back for. Any feedback you give back really helps me create better content. As well, we also have a Patreon account if you're willing to support us monetarily. If not, please just feel free to keep watching these videos. So go ahead, click the subscribe button. It doesn't hurt anything, and it's free. And while you're here, be sure to comment below and let me know your favorite state capitals or your least favorite state capitals. I look forward to reading and responding. So until next time, those were US state capitol buildings scored. Thanks for watching. Have a great day.